田畑、二人の秘密な。
それは思わず勘違いしたくない。私には少女漫画のような甘酸っぱい恋は訪れないと思う。せっかく話しかけてもらえた時も。
In the bustling halls of a typical Japanese high school where social hierarchies are as rigid as they are invisible, there exists a world of quiet hearts and loud whispers, a place where beauty and self-worth are constantly measured on an unforgiving scale. At the center of this subtle storm stands Hanako, an overweight and self-conscious high school girl who has long accepted her place as the invisible classmate, the one who blends into the background while the popular kids laugh and flirt and shine. Her mornings start with avoiding mirrors, her afternoons are spent hoping no one notices her, and her nights are filled with the silent wish that she could be anyone else. But Hanako's life takes an unexpected turn when she crosses paths with the school's most admired and handsome boy, Yosuke, whose model-like looks and effortless charm seem like they belong to a different world. When Yosuke absent-mindedly helps her pick up her books one day, Hanako's heart begins to stir with feelings she had buried long ago, convinced that someone like him would never see someone like her as anything more than a classmate at best, an eyesore at worst. Yet, to her disbelief, Yosuke starts seeking her out, greeting her in the mornings and even sitting with her at lunch. Rumors swirl instantly. People cannot understand why the most beautiful boy in school would spend time with Hanako, whom they cruelly label as the ugly girl. As the days pass, Hanako struggles to balance her growing feelings with the crushing self-doubt that has always followed her. Her internal voice is a constant storm of questions. Does he pity her? Is this a cruel joke? Or could someone so out of her league genuinely care about her? Meanwhile, Yosuke himself harbors insecurities that no one suspects. Behind his bright smile is a boy exhausted by the pressure to maintain a perfect image. He finds solace in Hanako's authenticity. She is one of the few who does not worship or fear him. As he spends time with her, he finds her kindness and humor captivating, and he begins to see beauty where others refuse to look. Yet, the social order around them is merciless. Hanako becomes the target of subtle bullying, whispers behind her back, and even overt comments questioning Yosuke's taste. She wonders if love is worth the humiliation, but Yosuke surprises her by standing by her side publicly, ignoring the rumors, and offering a rare glimpse of defiance against the shallow standards of their peers. Their relationship becomes a fragile thread of hope, tested by the expectations of those around them and Hanako's own inner demons. Hanako's best friend, a cheerful girl named Mei, encourages her to believe she is worthy of love. But Mai herself secretly struggles with jealousy, having always dreamed of catching Yosuke's eye. As Hanako and Yosuke grow closer, Maui wrestles with her loyalty to her friend and her own feelings of inadequacy. One day, a cruel prank is played on Hanako. A forged love letter appears in her locker, signed with Yosuke's name, inviting her to confess in front of the whole school. When Hanako shows up, expecting something real, she finds herself mocked by a crowd of classmates, her deepest fear materialized in cruel laughter. Just as she begins to crumble under the weight of humiliation, Yosuke appears. He reveals that the prank was not his doing, and, in front of everyone, tells Hanako he genuinely likes her. The scene silences the crowd, but the damage to Hanako's heart is done. She retreats into herself, convinced she cannot survive the social backlash. As Yosuke tries to reach her, he learns more about her past. Years of being belittled, overlooked, and judged for her appearance. He realizes the depth of her wounds and decides to prove that his feelings are not fleeting or superficial. He begins small, walking her home each day, texting her goodnight, and praising the things she thought no one noticed about her: her laugh, her kindness, her honesty. Slowly, Hanako allows herself to trust him again, their moments together becoming an oasis of genuine warmth. But outside their bubble, the world remains harsh. Their classmates' attitudes only soften when they start seeing glimpses of Hanako's resilience and warmth, realizing she is not the caricature they imagined. Yosuke's unwavering support begins to shift the opinions of others, but Hanako knows it is not others she must convince, it is herself. As the seasons change and their third year begins, the school prepares for its annual cultural festival. Hanako, pushed by Yosuke and Mai, agrees to participate in the committee, something she would never have dared before. She proposes a calf with a theme of imperfections as beauty, but meets resistance from those who believe it would be depressing. Yosuke, however, steps up, giving an impassioned speech about how beauty standards crush individuality and how everyone has the right to feel seen and valued. His words inspire a small but growing number of classmates who join their cause, and the calf becomes a surprising success on festival day. Students share stories of their own insecurities. Laughter and tears mix freely, and Hanako finds herself surrounded by acceptance for the first time. Even those who once mocked her apologize, not out of pity, but a genuine realization of how wrong they were. But just as it seems Hanako has found her footing, rumors about Yosuke's family surface. His parents are in the middle of a messy divorce, and he is considering transferring to another school. Hanako fears their relationship will end before it fully begins. Their final date before the potential transfer is bittersweet. They walk hand in hand through the cherry blossoms, promising not to forget each other. As they part ways, Hanako finds a bouquet in her locker the next morning, a simple bunch of wildflowers with a note from Yosuke saying, "To the girl who taught me what beauty truly is." The words give her strength, but the days that follow feel empty without him. Months pass, and Hanako focuses on herself, determined not to return to her old patterns of self-loathing. She takes up drawing, starts tutoring younger students, and even makes new friends who respect her for who she is. Then, one spring morning, as she sits beneath the now blooming cherry trees, a familiar voice calls her name. Yosuke stands before her, transfer paperwork cancelled, eyes bright with hope. He tells her his parents' issues have settled, and he chose to stay because there was nothing more important to him than being with her. Their reunion is quiet, but the silence speaks volumes, the shy smiles, the relieved tears, the sense that this time they will face everything together. Their relationship, once fragile, becomes stronger than ever, founded not on shallow attraction, but a deep mutual respect. They begin to dream of a future together beyond high school, attending the same university, traveling the world, proving to themselves and others that love does not belong to the beautiful alone. Along the way, they both stumble, they both doubt, but they remind each other of their worth. They find new joys in small moments, a shared umbrella in the rain, studying side by side in the library, surprising each other with homemade lunches. Years later, their classmates remember their story as a turning point in their own lives, when they realized the power of kindness over cruelty, of seeing beyond appearances. Hanako's calf idea evolves into a real community event at the school, held annually to celebrate everyone's unique beauty. Mao, who had once struggled with envy, grows into a steadfast friend and even finds her own love with a boy who adores her energy and humor. Hanako and Yosuke's love becomes an open secret of inspiration. They remain a couple who walk through life hand in hand, facing every hardship and joy side by side. They both understand that the world will always have cruel words, but the people who truly matter will always choose love over judgment. In the end, Hanako learns that beauty cannot be measured by the shape of a body or the symmetry of a face, but by the courage to love oneself and others honestly. And as for Yosuke, the boy who could have had anyone, he chose the girl who taught him how to see the world with kinder eyes. Together, they write a story far more beautiful than any fairy tale, not because they changed to fit a mold, but because they shattered the mold completely. They find that life is not about being perfect, but about sharing imperfect moments with someone who sees you as more than enough. And as the cherry blossoms continue to bloom year after year, they remind themselves of the day they first met, a day that changed everything. A day when an unexpected bouquet became the first step toward a love both of them had never dared to dream of, but now could never imagine living without.